What's up, everybody? It's your boy Ryan, and welcome to another N20. N20 stands for Nootropics 20, where we talk about nootropics and all things biohacking for 20 straight minutes. Before we get into that, let's talk about sales. I understand folks are a little apprehensive to spend money right now. So basically everything is on sale at livecortex.com. Here are the coupon codes. I'm just going to give you a bunch of coupon codes. Coupon code 5, F-I-V-E, takes Cortex, our nootropic stack, down to $24 a bottle. Coupon code 69 takes the Nootropics Masterclass, a video course designed to take you from 2 to 3 years in, wherever you are, to the Masterclass. That's 6 years plus in using nootropics. Coupon code 69 takes $50 off of the Nootropics Masterclass. Coupon code 6868 takes $33.50 off of the Viking Testosterone protocol. Look, if you're a man, I mean, there's no better time to optimize tests than right now. Like, there's a lot of recovery that's going to be happening in the United States, if you're in the States and elsewhere, once we all kind of bounce back from this thing. And if you're a guy, especially a business person, or just somebody that likes to get stuff done, you want to have high tests during this time. VTP, coupon code 68. Let's see, coupon code 65 saves you $10 on a consult with me. Perfect time to get with me to refine your nootropic stacks and get you really amped up to have good brain performance. Last coupon code is the coupon code discount, just the word discount. Discount takes 20% off of everything else on the web. On our website, aside from the products that we just mentioned. Lastly, this is a perfect time for folks to get information dense on nootropics. We've got 2 courses, Nootropics Masterclass. You guys know about that. But for those of you that are brand new and just really wanna fully understand using nootropics, take your game to the pro level, the 3-year mark. We just launched Nootropics Ground Zero. That's a video course that teaches you to do that. You want something to do and to learn a lot about nootropics during this time, go get Nootropics Ground Zero. Do all that stuff, livecortex.com. Use those coupon codes, guys. Want to save you some money. All right, so I want to talk about 15 things, got 15 major things here that are super cool topics around nootropics and biohacking that I would like to discuss. Number one, this is something that I've just seen with people on a consulting basis, looking at some of the things that they're doing that are messing with their stacks. One of them is people throwing in adaptogens because just like they think they're cool, because they've read somewhere that it might help with stress or make them have a positive mood or something to this effect. And while that is true, in a lot of cases, most cases where somebody is using like rhodiola of 500 milligrams kind of by itself to tone down like a negative vibe or negative thinking, I mean, that tends to work. It's one of the suggestions I give to entrepreneurs that are kind of down about their businesses and because of one reason or another. But generally what tends to happen when you take adaptogens in higher doses with your stacks is they just tend to mess the stacks up, right? In one way or another, they are preventing the full productivity effect of your stack. I mean, I just seen this over and over again, and I've done it myself. When I first started dosing liquid ashwagandha, that was a problem I was running into. I'm like, I'm super calm, I just don't want to get things done. So that's a mistake to throw adaptogens in a stack that's supposed to make you productive because you think they're cool. So just be careful of that. Second question is a question. Ryan, I tried low-dose aniracetam, and then he has in parentheses 450 milligrams with my morning supplement regimen like you suggested, and my baseline is better and I have no tolerance. Awesome. Whoever wrote me this email, this is awesome. And yeah, I mean, I would say that there does seem to be a degree of sustainability when taking, let's just call it aniracetam, because with other compounds, I really can't definitively say, with a morning supplement routine, which consists of a multivitamin, B complex, some fish or krill oil, and maybe some vitamin D, right? You're just sort of taking it in your morning complex. You're not taking it acutely to get an effect. You're just throwing it in at a medium or low dose with your morning routine. And that does seem to improve baseline, and you develop less tolerance when you do that. First of all, because you're dosing lower, and secondly, because you have a lot of cofactors in it, and that's what I think is happening. I've been known to do that too. I mean, there's some days where just in my morning supplement regimen, which frankly is like B vitamins, a little bit of licorice root, vitamin D, iron, the testosterone protocol stuff, well, I'll just throw in some oxiracetam or aniracetam at a medium dose, and honestly, I noticed the difference. I'm sharper, I'm more fluid, my brain works better, I'm more motivated to do work. I mean, it's just awesome. So think about that, especially during this time where folks are maybe trying to take a little less nootropics. Let's see. Ryan, I used lion's mane for 1 month and I got pretty much no results. Nootropics that enhance cognition without the stimulant effect like Adderall, what are your suggestions? Okay, wow. So what you're wanting is a nootropic stack that enhances general cognition that is not hardcore cranking up dopamine release, because that's what Adderall or any kind of methylphenidate and analogs are doing. Hard to say. Yeah, I mean, you want to shoot for essentially the Cortex stack, the Mr. Happy stack, or any stack that you concoct with between 100 and 200 milligrams of uridine, 50 to 150 milligrams of CDP choline, 100 to 400 milligrams of Alcar, a B complex, and then a dose of a krill oil supplement. Uridine is, I guess it's invoking the release of dopamine in various regions of your brain. That's going to enhance kind of dopaminergic performance, motivation, the will to do work. The rest of the stack is doing a lot of other things too, kind of making you energized, putting you in a place where your brain is fluid. So that's what I would say. I mean, honestly, you want to shoot for something, you want to shoot for a uridine-centered stack because it's going to give you the same degree of productivity without the stimulant rush, if that makes any sense. That's always my go-to in that situation. This is a great question. Ryan, I've been browsing around nootropics forums for a couple years, and I see that the tone has changed aside from classical nootropics. What should be the focus of nootropics forums? Such a good question. Because, I mean, I have this trouble too. Like, I like going to nootropics forums to sort of see what's new and see what people are talking about. And if there's a new research chemical that warrants some investigation that could be potentially effective for certain things in terms of brain performance, I want to go look into it and sort of see. But in a lot of cases, yeah, I mean, folks are just sort of talking about things, non-classical nootropics, and I understand that. There's a lot of knowledgeable people in nootropics forum, particularly Facebook groups, Nootropics 2.0, and then regular nootropics. It's just called nootropics. And so folks feel like they can ask questions out of the realm of classical nootropics and get detailed answers, right? Informed answers, and usually they can, and people sort of entertain that. Half the crew entertains it, half the crew is like, this isn't about nootropics, please don't talk about that here. What I think would be the best focus of nootropics forums would be two things: classical nootropics, all the racetams, afenils, lipofuscin removal agents that also are cholinergic, like centrophenoxine, DMA, of course, non-neurotransmitter modifying nootropic compounds, alpha-lipoic acid, vinpocetine, perhaps even yohimbine, obviously L-tyrosine, theacrine, Alcar, things of this nature. And then I also think that because with nootropics, there's really two critical categories that you have to focus on in terms of improving your brain, and they are nootropics, and then they are optimizing your baseline. Because ultimately, you want to be taking nootropics to get a bump above your already pretty optimal baseline. You wake up, you've done everything right in your life for a consistent period of time where you feel really good and your brain functions good with just a little bit of coffee. Taking a nootropic stack on top of that amplifies that, so you really get a synthesized positive effect. So that's what folks should be focusing on. Nootropics, of course, classical ones exclusively, and then how to optimize baseline. And we're really talking about energy production, hormone function, thyroid hormone, adrenal hormone, testosterone for men, potentially estrogen for women. And yeah, I mean, generally taking detailed blood tests, finding deficiencies in critical vitamins or minerals or otherwise nutrients, and then, or hormones, and then fixing those things. That if I could put it that simple, that's what I would say should be discussed. Ryan, you've been using some of your suggestions on red light therapy for testosterone. However, I'm noticing that I have a nagging pain in one of my testicles. What the hell's going on there? That's a good question because I've experienced that too. So the gist of it is using infrared red light therapy, a 660 or so nanometer near infrared light to shine on the reproductive area to improve testosterone. So this does work. I was introduced first by a fertility doctor who had data on it, guys going from 200 nanograms per deciliter up to 450. Sperm motility improving substantially when shining infrared red light on the reproductive area for men. So that's that. I think what you're probably running into is, we have to look at what's happening, right? Red light therapy tells the Leydig cells in the testicles produce more testosterone. Red light therapy also optimizes ATP inside of cells for energy production. With energy production and ATP enhancement, there's always accompanying increases in blood flow. So what you might be experiencing is you're shining it a little too close. You're getting some hyper blood flow function, and it's making one of your testicles feel uncomfortable. It could also be just sudden increased production of testosterone because the Leydig cells are hyperactivated from shining an infrared light on them, and that could make you feel uncomfortable. I've experienced this before, and I fixed it by not shining the light as close. I'm like about 4 inches away. Whenever I've shined it 1 inch or, in between pretty much right up on the area and 1 inch, I've gotten that issue. So I just had to take it a little further away. And then since I haven't had that issue, so that'd be my suggestion on that. Let's see where we at. Tips on not drinking a lot during COVID shutdown. Well, that's a good question, actually, because I think that applies to everybody who has a proclivity or an inclination to engage in some sort of addiction, right? Whether cannabis or alcohol or whatever, people do. But I think I think number one, during this time, especially for business people, and then really for everybody, right? Considering your jobs and your future and your livelihood and kind of what the economy might look like once we kind of get back to some sort of layering in a functionality, which should be super soon. There are focuses you should have in a downtime. I wouldn't even call this a downtime or winter, but in the winter, let's just say for the sake of the phrase, you always have to be looking at how you can have a successful summer. So whatever that means in your life, and to do that, you really can't be disproportionately under the influence of substances, right? And so, that's essentially the first thing. You have to have something to look forward to and a focus. You have to, like in times like this, where there's a little uncertainty in the air, and we have this spreadable virus that's going around the United States, and it's a bad respiratory illness is what it is. It's a pretty bad respiratory virus. Then this just isn't the time to recluse and cave in to addictions. Even though you might want to do that, you're like, the rest of the world's kind of hanging out at home watching Netflix, or this sounds good. You want to be focused on your future. You want to be focused on productivity. You want to be focused on that stuff. Otherwise, you have to address vitamin and mineral and otherwise nutrient deficiencies. That's there's a lot of data to suggest alcoholism as an example. I don't want to say it can be cured, but can be helped tremendously by massive repletion of B vitamins, and particularly niacin in high doses, the flushed type of niacin. Things like inositol also help with that too. You'd have to look at the underlying brain chemistry of whatever is making you want certain substances, and then attempt to fix that chemistry. We're talking about alcohol, then excessive glutamate firing, GABA A receptor downregulation, probably GABA A autoreceptor desensitization, serotonin dopamine integration firing problems, and so you want to look at fixing that kind of stuff. But ultimately, this is not the time to recluse into your addiction. This is the time to pretty much be sober and focus on what you have to do when everything comes back relatively shortly. Let's see. My doc prescribed me 5 milligrams of iodine and a selenium complex after I can't remember what the guy's saying, but he's basically saying he's almost hypothyroid, high TSH. But I crash after I take it. What should I do? Good question. Essentially what you want to do is you want to dial the iodine dose down to the point where you still feel, and this would be based on research and then your own kind of analysis of yourself, self-awareness of how you're feeling, that you're getting a benefit from it in terms of thyroid function, but you're not getting the crash after. Whether it's sort of large-scale detox that's happening, it's like detoxing sort of toxins from mitochondria of your cells, or it's something else. There's a litany of mechanisms that could be causing that. I mean, most people shift to detox first, but we don't even know if that's doing that, and I wouldn't go there first. You've got to dial your dose on iodine down to where you still feel like you're getting benefits in terms of thyroid function, but you're not getting crashes after. That's the simplest way I would do that. I mean, at 5 milligrams of iodine, I would knock that all the way down to 1 milligram of iodine, and then like if we're taking like Lugol's, like a liquid solution or something, and then test. And then prior to that, I'd be moving down. At what? That's 1,000 micrograms. At 1 milligram, I'd be moving to 800 micrograms, and then 700 micrograms, and so on until you reach that point. Let's see. Best nootropic with cannabis. Talk about substances. And by the way, on the substances thing, probably every night or 5 times a week or something, I have like a big glass of wine, one big pour of a red wine, usually a Malbec, if not like a good enough quality Merlot, and that's essentially it. But yeah, I do that most days, and it's awesome. You don't want to drink more than that because, look, you're adding calories and all this other stuff we talked about. Cannabis. This is a time where I think a lot of people might be smoking cannabis, right? Because they're sort of home and it might make them think more creatively. I think that's totally fine. Nootropics with cannabis, historically what's worked for me is anything that turns on brain fluidity, because cannabis tends to mess up coordination of brain fluidity to an extent in the acute phases. Oxiracetam is really my go-to in that particular situation, 500-600 milligrams, low-dose choline source B complex. You just want to jumpstart choline function, acetylcholine pathway function when you're ingesting cannabis. I think folks are going to find they can get the effects from the cannabis, like whatever creative effects or post-acute phase effects that might make you sort of loosen up some stringent thinking you've had, while also maintaining a pretty regular degree of brain function. And in some cases being even above your baseline. That's what I would say. You want to shoot for racetams, anything cholinergic but racetams, aniracetam, oxiracetam, piracetam. Energy hack for post-work side hustle. Great question. So this is a situation where you have folks that go to work 9 to 5 and then come home or stay home because they work at home, and then are working on another business from like 6 to 10 p.m. or something. Well, what are my suggestions for that? Well, if you're already into nootropics, then I would say if you're taking a stack in the morning, don't take that same stack. If you have no other nootropics and you're going to take that stack, half the doses, and you should get a better response than actually trying to take the full dose of your stack that you found out works in the morning. But ideally, you wouldn't want to do that. Let me just make it simple. 2 hacks would be chaga mushroom in 500 milligram quantities, or double the dose of any cordyceps mushroom supplement. Off the top of my head, I actually forget what the typical suggested dose is on most supplements for cordyceps because it's been a while. But this is something that I used throughout my time in working on my previous business, still having to run that business, and then starting Cortex Labs. I actually did that same thing, and it was cordyceps mushroom in the evening, sometimes rotating that with lower dose stacks that actually got me to function really well. So I would say chaga mushroom and cordyceps is what I'd be doing at night to get energy to work on your side hustle. Highly effective. Best stack to take the next day for a poor night's sleep. Usually the go-to is something that induces fluidity and a lot of mental endurance, and that would be a modafinil oxiracetam centered stack, something like 100 or so milligrams modafinil. Honestly, find your dose, but that seems to be pretty good blanket suggestion. And then for me, it's like 500-600 milligrams oxiracetam, probably about 85 milligrams alpha GPC, 50%. That is my go-to for when I don't sleep particularly well. Ryan, why is stack experimentation taking 3 weeks? Pretty long email that I've got here, but I'll sort of summarize it. into that. Basically, a guy is experimenting with a bunch of different stacks to find which ones work really well, and then adjusting those stacks, dial them in to set them aside and have them be good stacks that work really well for them. And it's taking a long time. Why? Well, 3 weeks isn't that long of a time, all things considered. I would say probably your strategy isn't the best that it could be. So you have to remember, you have to be adjusting in very, very small milligram increments, because you can have a stack that works sort of well, but there's something wrong with it, and then you start adjusting 2 or more of the ingredients in high milligram quantities, and you've completely now changed that stack that you actually had some good results with, and then you don't even have good results from it because you took the centrophenoxine up 75 milligrams or 100 milligrams when you should have took it up like 20 or down 20, and you changed more than one ingredient in the stack. Throws the whole stack off. Got to be so meticulous with stacks. Usually you start off, you get some sort of a good result, but there's some sort of side effect or some negativity about the stack. You are close, man, to figuring out making that stack perfect. It's just a matter of minor adjustments, one ingredient at a time, and in low milligram quantity increments to get it right. So that's probably what's taken so long. But there's other reasons too. I mean, you know, I think the most standout reason I've seen looking at data is of consulting clients is something you're already taking that is inhibiting the function of the nootropics that you're trying to get a benefit from. Now, if you're taking a pharmaceutical medication that's antagonizing cholinergic receptors, then that's your problem. You got to look at that. Try to scale down or figure that out. Preventative measures for coronavirus. Okay, I want to make this simple. I think folks should be focusing on antivirals. And the strongest antiviral that I know in a supplement that's a herb is oil of oregano. You know, that's the most impressive compound that I've researched for antimicrobial, antiviral capabilities. I think, well, I mean, right now in New York, I believe it is, intravenous injections of 1,000 milligrams of vitamin C 3 to 4 times daily is helping patients substantially. I mean, this is validated that the patients that have gotten that much vitamin C are doing substantially better than patients who have not gotten that much vitamin C. There's no tinfoil hat about that. It's vitamin C. It's a massive antioxidant. So vitamin C for sure. I'd be taking a gram or 2 of lysine. There's no evidence to suggest that that's going to prevent the formulation or the therefore proliferation of COVID-19, but it would be a good strategy to engage in. And then lastly, I would say monolaurin. Monolaurin is a chemical substance that binds to certain viruses, the cells of that are infected with viruses, and is the same size and same sort of structural capacity as the fat molecule within the virus, so it just sort of fits right in there. It doesn't bind to it, but it absorbs into the virus, and what that does is prevent the virus from attaching to other host cells, and therefore, you know, enhancing or facilitating proliferation among host cells. So monolaurin in 500 to 1,000 milligrams would be my suggestion there. Really 200 to 1,000 milligrams. Again, no evidence to support that. No evidence to support a whole lot right now around COVID, but that's what I would say. Monolaurin and oil of oregano are probably the most effective supplements, in my opinion. I have to be very clear, this is just my opinion. Last question, Ryan, if nothing works but the uridine CDP B complex krill oil stack you typically suggest, how do I proceed? And then the guy just has cycling ? So what he's saying is, if most of the nootropics really aren't giving him much of an effect except for uridine CDP choline alcar B complex krill oil, which is very neurogenic, dopamine releasing, acetylcholine optimizing, receptor modifying stack. What I would say in that particular case is that's fine. I would take it no more than 3 days a week. That's what I would do. I would take it 3 days a week because CDP choline and uridine have pretty long half-lives. So though you won't have the acute effects on like day 4, if you took it on day 3, your brain should still actually function substantially better. This has been validated across, I wish I had the number, but it's somewhere around 2,000 people. I mean, folks that we've interacted with at this capacity. What you really should do is, like, say you have the work week Monday through Friday. Take the uridine stack Monday, cycle off Tuesday. Take the uridine stack Wednesday, take the uridine stack Thursday, cycle off Friday, cycle off the weekend, start again, and engage in it in that sort of capacity. In the meantime, you have to optimize your baseline, because nootropics working for you are one thing, but if you got vitamin B deficiency, or vitamin D deficiency, B12 deficiency, B9 deficiency, other B deficiency, if you have hormonal issues, you have to work on those first so that you can function well the days you're not taking the uridine stack. Ultimately, I've not seen that stack create a massive tolerance of people that take it consistently. But I have seen issues with people taking it every day, a stack like that, for a very long time. I'm talking about a year or more, and then essentially the stack beginning to give them side effects. You don't want to do that. So you want to cycle appropriately in that particular case. All right, everybody, that has been another Nootropics 20. Thanks so much for watching. Thanks for sticking with me. Remember, guys, I know folks are apprehensive to spend large quantities of money right now, so we just downscaled pricing on everything at livecortex.com. Right now, you can get a bottle of Cortex for $24. You just have to use the coupon code 5, F-I-V-E, at livecortex.com. Coupon code 69 takes $50 off the Nootropics Masterclass, video course teaching you how to take your nootropics usage to the elite level. Now is absolutely the time to watch a course, get information, prepare your brain. Coupon code 68 saves you $33.50 on the Viking Testosterone Protocol. Perfect time to raise your test, guys. Telling you, the testosterone protocol is something I take every day, and it's like, if I don't take nootropics that day, I'm still awesome, because the test protocol just makes my brain feel great, and I do that right when I wake up, and then a couple times throughout the day. Coupon code 65 saves you some money on a consult with me. Hey, let's get on a call during this time, man. 40-minute call with me. Let's refine your nootropic strategy, give you some stacks, get you up there. Do that at livecortex.com. And then the coupon code discount, just the word discount, takes 20% off of everything else at livecortex.com. So if you want to save some money on some of our digital books and some of the other products we have, just use the coupon code discount. If you're an executive or an entrepreneur or business person and need exceptional brain performance during this time, the 6-month Nootropics consulting package for business folks is $500 off using the coupon code 500. You can actually save $500 on that thing. 6-month package, coupon code 500. Do all that stuff at livecortex.com. Coupon codes will be in the description below, so go look at them and go get some product. Thanks so much for watching, everybody. Talk to you next time.